Hello and welcome to this little three-part series on nipple pain, and today in this particular video we're going to be talking about my three-step process to healing your nipple pain, giving you some relief until such time as you are getting that expert lactation support. If this is the first time that you were here, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us, and I really hope that you get some sort of ideas, some relief from any nipple pain that you might be experiencing. Before I dive into the things that you can do from right now to help relieve your nipple pain, we have to understand where the damage is coming from and understanding between what's normal and what is not. So you might have heard breastfeeding is so sore, you end up with such sore, cracked, broken skin on your nipples. And actually, it shouldn't be that way. Breastfeeding may very well be a new sensation. It might be a toe curling sensation, but it shouldn't be something that continues past 10 seconds or so once that milk starts to flow during a feed. It can take about 2 weeks of sort of wiggle room for you to get used to that feeling, for your nipples to get used to that degree of sensation and suckling, because it's totally new for them as well. But if your baby's latch is nice and deep at the breast, if they're getting a nice mouthful of the areola, this darker area around the nipple, as well as the nipple itself, the nipple should be shooting back to, if you feel on the roof of your mouth, you've got your hard palate, and then further back you've got your soft palate. That's where your baby's nipple should be in there, or your nipple should be in your baby's mouth. And so that will be much more comfortable for you. If you are having breastfeeding pain that is during a feed, between a feed, you have cracks, open cracks or wounds on your nipples, if feeds are painful the whole way through, if you are worried about your baby's intake, all of these things might be reasons for you to touch base with a lactation consultant and make sure that you're out ruling a fungal or bacterial infection at the site of the breast, because we don't want to make sure that you are comfortable moving forward with your breastfeeding journey, and they will be able to get to the bottom, the root cause, why your baby is causing that damage, and also outrule things like a tongue tie, any kind of oral tension or tethering that's stopping your baby from opening their mouth as wide as they should be and feeding really efficiently at the breast. So that's really, really important. And that would be step number one. Touch base with a lactation consultant if you're in pain, because majority of the time there's some sort of latching issue going on there. These other three tips are things that you can do while you're waiting for your appointment with your lactation consultant. So step number one is going to be cleansing your nipples, cleansing your breasts. If you have an open wound there, it's a source for infection to go in, and you can end up with infective mastitis and be very, very unwell. So we want to make sure that we're really cleansing the area, but also it can be really soothing. So at least making sure you're washing your breasts once, if not twice a day, in just warm soapy water, unscented soap. Antibacterial soap would be even nicer, but making sure that you are also doing a little saline soak. Now you can buy little saline sachets. Did I bring one out with me? I've got all my bits and pieces here. I did not. Little saline sachets that are sterile in the chemist, or you can just make up your own little solution with half a teaspoon of salt. Table salt is absolutely fine. Epsom salts are ideal. Into your hot water, swirling that around until it's completely dissolved, making sure that the water is warm but not too hot so you don't burn yourself. Popping that into either a little medicine cup like this, or even better would be like a shot glass or an egg cup, and you're filling it up to about 3/4 full, and then immersing your breasts, your nipples and your areola into that cup of water or that little shot glass of water. You can sit back like this so they're getting completely bathed. And you want to be doing this for approximately 2 minutes, anything up to as far as 10 minutes, and then you're stopping. And what you're doing is you're tipping it back down again and patting that dry with either a little bit of paper towel or a nice dry clean cloth. And then the next step that you're going to do is remembering that we love moist wound healing. So instead of having dry healing, which is what we used to do years and years ago, where a scab was forming and then of course your baby was just removing the scab and you were starting from scratch, moist wound healing works from inside the wound out. So we're creating that environment that encourages the wound healing to happen nice and fast. So we've gone ahead with keeping our breasts nice and clean. We've spoken to our lactation consultant. We've done our saline soaks twice a day up until 10 minutes. And then in between now and then, we are going to be making sure that we're creating that moist healing environment. So you can go ahead and just express a little bit of breast milk onto the face of the nipple and rub that in. There's some lovely evidence to support that. Check out a previous video that I have linked here down below on antenatal hand expression if that's something that you would be or unsure and unfamiliar about how to do. Rubbing that into the face of the nipple. What you can also do is just pick one of whatever nipple balm you have to hand. I love this by the Expert Midwife No Harm Nipple Balm, but we also have a lanolin source here, which is of course made from sheep's wool, which is processed, purified, and has all of those sort of hyperallergenic toxins removed. Although I have to say this would probably be the least favorite of mine. You can also go ahead and just use olive oil if you have that to hand, and just making sure that you are creating that nice moist environment. And then you want to go ahead and open up your breast pads, and if it's not an option for you to just let your breasts breathe and go around topless, you can use one of your disposable breast pads, or reusable if you have them. And what you're doing is you're going to open them up and actually go ahead and slather any of that nipple ointment all over it, so it's really, really laden with that lovely solution. And then you're going to pop them into your bra. So you're making sure that you're always creating that lovely moist wound environment for the healing to take place. In between now and then, you're waiting for your lactation consultant to get to you. You're focusing on your own deep latch techniques. Go back and have a little look at some of my other videos that you might find helpful there, and making sure that you're focusing on rest and your diet, and you're cutting out all of the things that are going to be causing you stress. No cleaning, you shouldn't be doing any cooking, you feeding your baby and nourishing yourself enough that you can heal. So lots of protein, lots of vitamin C rich foods are going to help you to be your best self so that you can continue nursing your baby. I hope you found this video helpful. Remember to come back to those top 3 tips. Contact your lactation consultant. Cleanse the area so you're reducing the likelihood of bacterial infection or infection entering via that wound. So an antibacterial soap in hot water once or twice a day, and then your saline soaks for between 2 and 10 minutes twice a day. And then lathering up that breast pad with a nipple balm of choice. If that is lanolin, the No Harm Nipple Balm, an olive oil, or just plenty of breast milk for the time being. Make sure that you're creating that nice moist wound environment, and then focusing on your latch techniques will be a whole separate video. I hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.